Hi, Mark Kentwell here, founder of Presence Real Estate, and we're covering a big topic today in Presence Pulse. Why do different agents charge different commission rates? I'll give a bit of a spectrum of fees in Australia, and this is just a ballpark, but in metro areas, the fees can be as low as 1% and go up to about 2.5% plus GST. In regional centres, you'll find that the fees could be as low as 1.5% for the sort of leaner running firms, up to sort of 3.5%. And in regional, rural or project complex sales, you might find that they could start at around 3% and go right through to about 6%. Now that might sound like a lot of a transaction, but when you look at Australia's fees compared to, say, America, it's very common to have 6% in America. And in America, the buyer's agent and the seller's agent collaborate on the same deals. The buyer is represented by a buyer's agent, the seller by the seller's agent, and then sometimes the seller can do both. And the fee pool is around 6%. It can go up from there for complex sales, harder to sell assets, option properties, commercial real estate, and more. So why is Australia's fee landscape lower? Well, a big part of that is because a lot of purchasers, the majority at the moment, although it is changing, the majority are working directly with the agent that's representing the seller. And the marketing in Australia is amongst the most sophisticated in the world. It will probably only be Sweden that has the higher level of marketing and information available and a very efficient system, in my opinion. So why is it that there's a spectrum on the fees? I think it's worth having a look at what other industries do before we dive into that. So have a look at sports players, for example. If you take a European football team or an NBA team or something like that, you take the top team on the ladder, i.e. the company, and you take the best agent in that company or the top team on the ladder. The top player in the top team would make anywhere from 10 to 100 times what the lowest ranking player in that squad for that one top team would make. Now in real estate, as you've just seen with the spectrum, within each area, the difference in fees is really about double for the absolute premium all-in service versus the lower end that's usually missing some components. And you'll see the same in lawyers, business coaches, and advisors, and so many other spectrums, whether it's beauty, whether it's fashion. Yet with real estate, they're actually quite condensed. And the top agents with the most comprehensive service and track record really aren't that much more than the others. Now, the percentage of the sale price does add up to a larger dollar figure, but when we have a look at it, whether we're asking for the cheapest agent or we're asking for the agent that's going to have the most proceeds in your pocket, how do we get the most proceeds in your pocket? Well, there's a number of different elements to that. Tier 1 firms, which are scattered across Australia, but there's not as many, have the most comprehensive organisational chart. Usually the agents will work in teams and will be highly trained. They'll have internal and external training programs. They'll often have a massive database that is highly curated with a lot of communication going out of that database and teams of people and technology that will be updating that, giving the buyers absolute best service. If you have a look at the actual agents themselves, the track record within the agency, what sales have happened across that agency, the volume of the sales, which actually means more buyer inquiry, more buyers held, more track record as far as knowing the pricing, knowing what campaigns work for different owner types and different property types. The agent themselves, what else they have sold in the area, what the success rates have been like, how happy their clients are, their communication during the program. We believe a lot of agents do their absolute best to service clients. They're not deliberately being lazy and taking a long time to get back to you, or not sending things out, or not being high detail. But when there's one person running around doing a lot of jobs and they don't have the engine behind them, it's fair to say that they're going to miss some phone calls. They're going to miss getting back to a buyer about an offer before it actually goes to exchange. Now that could be $10,000, $20,000 or $30,000 more on $1 million property. In a lot of cases, it could be 10% or more on the sale price. So the question would be, if an agent's got a track record of creating outcomes with a good time frame days on market, very satisfied clients, a process that they can demonstrate works, and actually show you all of the infrastructure that's working on it, as well as your experience in the market, if they can get another 5 to 10% on your sale price and it costs you on paper another 1%, you are still in front. So going where the track record is, going with the most comprehensive plan can be a way to end up with a lot more net proceeds in your bank, because it can be hard to differentiate when you're looking online. Agents are friendly people. When you meet them out at open homes, most of the time, you'll find that they are all caring, they're all working hard. They also have nice photography online. They're on domain.com.au, realestate.com.au. There's a lot of elements that translate to whether every buyer in the market that could be exposed to it is exposed to it. Then serviced in a way they've got the best information, the best marketing, the best technology for quicker replies, more team members working on it. And if all those buyers have got their best opportunity to see the properties that suit them the best or be suggested by other members in the firm, when you've got a larger firm, you'll find that the agents will cross-sell. They'll have a client, they'll suggest a property, the relationship is strong, and you'll find that in firms like that you have a lot of people coming off the database, a lot of people introduced by other team members, and if the offices are spread, like we have at Presence Real Estate, right throughout Newcastle and Lake Macquarie, then you'll find the geographic spread has a wider catchment of people coming in. Now, these elements are all things that you'll find in a tier 1 firm. And as you go down to tier 5 firm is really a single operator or a very small firm with less sophisticated systems. And we're not saying anything negative about these firms, but when they get a couple of extra listings, they can be a little bit overloaded. There could be phone calls coming through to a mobile number with no alternative but to leave a voicemail. That blocked number that might have come through, might I get a call back about an offer that they wanted to make, a deal might be done without them. So this is real stuff that can happen out there. So it's important to give the hearing to the agents, and instead of asking how much will I get for my property and how are you going to charge, thinking that the highest price and the lowest fee will be better proceeds, it could be more along the lines of show me the process that you use to optimize my sale price and put the best net proceeds into my account at the end of the day. Of course, you need to feel comfortable with who you're working with, and within some firms, you might get someone in and they don't suit you perfectly, but you have the opportunity to deal with someone else in that firm if you want all of the infrastructure behind that as well. So I hope the sporting analogy and a couple of other those references might help you a little bit. If you want to unpack this a bit further and dive beneath the surface, lift up the bonnet and see what actually goes on with the engine that's behind agents in a tier 1 firm and why it is that there's a difference in fees between one and another, feel free to reach out to us at Presence Real Estate, any of our team members on the website, and we'll be more than happy to show you the options so that you can make an informed choice.